Hello everyone. أهلا وسهلا بطلاب الصف الخامس الابتدائي with the science lessons تحت رعاية وإشراف وزارة التربية والتعليم. The last time we talked about the mixtures. خلصنا المكتشر وعرفنا يعني إيه mixture والفرق ما بين المكتشرز and the pure substance. عرفنا that the mixture is the substance that consists of more than one type of particles. اتكلمنا عن the types of mixtures which are solid mixtures, liquid mixtures, solid liquids, and gaseous and gaseous liquid mixture. واتكلمنا كمان عن the properties of the mixture. We know that the mixtures has three properties. كل property اتكلمنا عنها. And also we talked about how we can form a mixture, the formation of mixtures, and how can we separate the mixtures, the separation of the mixture. Today we're going to begin with the next lesson, which is lesson number 2. هنتكلم عن lesson number 2 in unit 2, so let's begin. Lesson 2 in unit 2. Lesson 2, which is the solution. عايزين نتكلم ونعرف يعني ايه solution in lesson number 2. To understand the solution or to understand the lesson, which is lesson number 2, let's take as an examples of the mixture. أول example من المكتشر عايزين نفتكره سوا the mixture between solid substance and a liquid substance. Solid liquid mixture such as salt and water. The salt can بيحصل له dissolve in water or no? Yes. The salts dissolve in water by stirring. لما كنا بنعمل mixture, the formation of mixture كنا بنستخدم ايه؟ By stirring. يبقى salt and water by stirring form a mixture. بيكون mixture. وهنا the salt dissolves in water. بيدوب في المية وما بنقدرش نشوفه. طب another example. Also solid liquid mixture. بس الsolid هنا is the sand. لما الساند بنعمل له mixed with the water, the sand doesn't dissolve in water. ما بيحصلوش dissolve in the water. يبقى عندنا دلوقتي two different types of solid liquid mixture. Solid liquid mixture والsolid بيحصل له dissolve in water والsolid liquid mixture that the solid doesn't dissolve in water. احنا دلوقتي عايزين نتكلم عن اول كيس بس او اول حاله عندنا هنا which is the salt and water in which the salt dissolves in water. هنتكلم هنا عنها اكتر. مش اتفقنا ان السولت لما عملنا له add to the water by stirring it forms a mixture. الميكتشر هنا هنقول عليه ايه؟ we can call it solution. هنسميه solution. يبقى تاني لما يبقى عندنا salt, water, solid وليكويد والsolid ده بيحصل له dissolve in the liquid هيكون solution. solution ده it's a type of mixture. نوع من أنواع الميكتشر. طيب دلوقتي زي ما سمينا الميكتشر ده solution هنسمي الsolid بحاجة تانية وبرضو الليكويد بحاجة تانية عشان نقدر نميزهم. The solid substance that we have in here, which is the salt, هنقول عليه solute. طيب والwater اللي هو liquid هنقول عليه solvent. يبقى تاني استخدمنا solute اللي هو salt والsolvent اللي هو water. الاتنين مع بعض by stirring it forms a mixture which is solution. يبقى احنا دلوقتي عرفنا يعني ايه solution. solution هو عبارة عن ايه؟ solute وsolvent. solute وsolvent والsolute بيحصل له dissolve in the solvent لأن الsolute هو السولت والسولت هو اللي بيدوب in the water. طيب يبقى دلوقتي نقدر نقول ايه؟ we can say that solute plus solvent it forms solution by the solubility process. Solute plus solvent by solubility process it produces or forms the solution. طيب دلوقتي احنا فهمنا البروسيس او ازاي بيحصل وبنستخدم ايه. دلوقتي عايزين نعرف definition لكل concept عندنا هنا. We want to know what is the solute, what is the solvent, what is the solution, and what is the solubility process. So let's begin with the solute. اتفقنا ان السوليد هو عبارة عن ايه؟ زي السولت او الشوجر، the solid substance that dissolve in water. طب ازاي بقى نقول definition ليها؟ the solute زي ما احنا قلنا dissolve in the water، بس بدل ما نقول water هنقول in the solvent. يبقى solute it's the substance which dissolves in the solvent، اللي بيدوب في الsolvent. يبقى solute is the substance which dissolves in a solvent such as salt and sugar. طيب what about the solvent? Solvent it's the liquid in which the solute dissolves in، اللي الsolute بيدوب فيه، بيحصل له dissolved in it. يبقى solvent it's the substance in which solute dissolves، بيدوب فيه. طيب what about examples زي water, benzene, alcohol? We have a lot of examples. طيب the water in here بنقول على الwater common solvent. The water it's called by a common solvent. طب ليه بنقول على الwater common solvent؟ The water there are thousands of substances dissolve in it. كتير قوي من السبستانس بيحصل لهم dissolve in the water، فبالتالي بنقول على الwater a common solvent. يعني ايه common solvent؟ يعني solvent that we use much more than any other solvent. بنستخدمه أكتر من أي solvent تاني. يبقى تاني هنا water it's called a common solvent. Why? Because thousands of substances dissolve in it. طيب دلوقتي عرفنا يعني ايه solute، عرفنا يعني ايه solvent. Let's know now what is the solution. The solution is a type of mixture that consists of solute and solvent, in which the solute dissolves in the solvent. يبقى يعني ايه solution? It's a mixture in which a solute dissolve in a solvent. أو ممكن نقول definition تاني which is say that the solution عبارة عن ايه؟ It's a mixture in which the solute breaks down into small particles and spreads through the solvent. يعني ايه؟ يعني السوليوت اللي بيحصل له كأنه بيحصل له breaks down، يعني بيتكسر ليه small particles، البارتكلز صغيرة قوي and then spread through the solvent، بينتشر في الsolvent and dissolve it، بيحصل له dissolve in the solvent. يبقى تاني يعني ايه solution؟ Solution it's a mixture in which solute dissolve in a solvent, or it's a mixture in which the solute breaks down into small particles and spreads through the solvent. Like what's the solution? Solution like the salty solution. Salty solution يعني salt water عمل salty solution. Apple juice or also tea. دولت كده يعتبروا examples للسوليوشن. يبقى احنا دلوقتي عرفنا يعني ايه solute، عرفنا يعني ايه solvent and solute plus solvent form a solution. طيب they form a solution by the solubility process. يبقى يعني ايه solubility process؟ It's the process، هي الطريقة بقى by which اللي من خلالها the solute dissolves in a solvent to form a solution. solubility process هي الطريقة اللي بيها بنقدر نعمل dissolve للsolute في الsolvent. يبقى تاني يعني ايه solubility process؟ It's the process by which a solute dissolves in a solvent to form a solution، عشان يعمل solution. يبقى دلوقتي again solute plus solvent by the solubility process produces or forms a solution، بيكون solution. Let's take now a give reason question. In a sugary solution, sugar is considered the solute. ليه في الsugar solution بنقول إن الsugar هو الsolute؟ Because the sugar is the substance that dissolves in the water. هو السبستانس اللي بيحصل له إيه؟ بيحصل له dissolve في الwater. فالحاجة اللي بيحصل لها dissolve in this liquid هي اللي بيبقى اسمها solute. يبقى هنقول الإجابة ليه؟ Because it dissolves in the solvent which is the water to form the sugary solution، عشان نكون الsugar solution أو الsugary solution. طيب دلوقتي فهمنا يعني إيه solute، فهمنا يعني إيه solvent، عرفنا كمان إن solid and solvent forms solution، وعرفنا يعني إيه solution. And they form solution by solubility process, and also we know now what is the solubility process. طيب دلوقتي عايزين نتكلم عن إيه؟ We want to talk about that the substance are classified into two types. السبستانس بتقسم لنوعين according to their solubility، على حسب بيحصل لها soluble in a liquid or no. بتتقسم لحاجتين: soluble substance and insoluble substance. Soluble substance يعني substance which dissolve in liquid. Again, soluble substance زي السولت والووتر. لو عندنا salt وwater, to form a mixture of salt and water by stirring, they will form a solution. السوليوشن ده السولت حصل له dissolve in the water. بما انه حصل له dissolve in the water يبقى السولت ده يعتبر soluble substance. يبقى يعني ايه soluble substance؟ It's the substance that dissolve in a solvent. بيدوب في solvent such as salt and water. طب what about the insoluble substance? Insoluble substance such as sand and water. لو عندنا sand and water, and to form this mixture we will form it by stirring. هيكون solid liquid mixture which is sand and water. بس الساند doesn't dissolve in water، فهيكون هنا ايه؟ ده insoluble substance، ما بيدوبش. يبقى هنقول عليه in the insoluble substance the substance that doesn't dissolve in a solvent، ما بيدوبش في الsolvent. And the example that we have in here, sand and water or mud in water. تمام. يبقى احنا كده خلصنا the first part of the lesson. فهمنا يعني ايه solid, solvent, and solid plus solvent forms solution by solubility process. عرفنا that the substances are classified into two types according to their solubility into soluble substance and insoluble substance. Now we want to talk about the second part of the lesson. طب ايه هو second part? We will talk about the factors that affecting the solubility process. عايزين نتكلم عن the factors أو عن الحاجات اللي بتأثر that affecting on the solubility process. إيه الحاجات اللي بتأثر على solubility process؟ إيه اللي ممكن يخلي solubility process تبقى أسرع؟ إن الحاجة يحصل لها dissolve أسرع في solvent. عندنا هنا 4 factors. Factor number 1, quantity of solvent. Factor number 2, the temperature. Factor number 3, stirring. Factor number 4, kind of solid. يعني احنا دلوقتي عندنا 4 factors. هنتكلم عن كل factor in more details to understand it. So let's begin with factor number 1, which is the quantity of solvent. Quantity, it means the amount of solvent. يعني كمية السولفنت. يا ترى لو عندنا سولفنت كتير ده هيأثر في السولوبيليتي بروسيس؟ هيخليها مثلا أسرع أو أبطأ؟ طب تعالوا نشوف الأكتيفيتي دي. For example, if we have in here sugar with the same amount. طبعا الشوجر ده solute. We have a solute with the same amount. And 2 beakers of solvent with different amount. It means different in quantity. يعني كمية السولفنت اللي موجودة هنا في البيكرز مختلفة. In beaker A عندنا large amount of water، لكن beaker B عندنا small amount of water، كمية قليلة من الووتر which is the solvent. هنحط الشوجر في ال 2 beakers، كل بيكر هنحط فيه spoon of sugar. And then to form the mixture by stirring we will use the glass rod. هنعمل ايه؟ We're gonna use the stopwatch to record the time that each one will take to dissolve the sugar. يا ترى ايه الوقت اللي هياخده كل بيكر؟ هنلاقي ان احنا لما نحط 1 spoon of sugar in each one of them حطينا نفس ال quantity of the solute لكن ال quantity of the solvent مختلف. في بيكر A, in the beaker A, as it has the large amount of solvent هيحصل للsolute dissolve أسرع في ال quantity الأكتر هنا in beaker A. So we can observe that, our observation from that activity, that the time needed, الوقت اللي محتاجينه to dissolve sugar in beaker A في beaker A is shorter than that is needed to dissolve the same quantity of sugar in beaker B. هناخد وقت أقل، يعني أسرع وقت أقل في بيكر A عشان يحصل dissolve للشوجر في الووتر. So we can conclude that from this activity that by increasing the quantity of solvent, كل ما نكتر ال amount of the solvent, the speed of the solubility increases. سرعة ال solubility بتزيد، بيبقى أسرع، يبقى بياخد time أقل. أوكي، طيب يبقى دلوقتي عرفنا that as the quantity of the solvent increases, the solubility speed also increases. Now give reason question. The solubility depends on the amount of solvent. يا ترى ليه بقى ال solubility بتعتمد على ال amount of solvent، على كمية ال solvent؟ Because زي ما قلنا من شوية، because when the amount of the solvent increases، لما ال amount of the solvent بتزيد، the speed of the solubility also increases، هتزيد. Okay, so now we understand that question. We finished factor number 1. Let's begin with factor number 2, which is the temperature. احنا خلاص دلوقتي فهمنا أول factor إن لما ال quantity of solvent بتزيد، when the quantity of solvent increases, the solubility speed increases. Now factor number 2, which is the temperature. يا ترى temperature بتأثر؟ طب let's see together this activity. If we have also the same quantity of sugar, which is the solute, and same quantity of solvent، عندنا نفس ال quantity of solvent ونفس ال quantity of solvent، بس we have in here a cold water or a tap water and a hot water. يعني عندنا two beakers. beaker مش هنعمل له حاجة، هنحطه in a cold water أو مية عادية، لكن البيكر التاني we're gonna heat it. we're gonna make it an on heat. هنحطه على الهيتنج عشان يزيد ال temperature بتاعه. طيب يبقى دلوقتي عندنا two beakers the same quantity of solvent، عندنا ال solute the same quantity of solvent. هنستخدم برضو ال glass rod to form the mixture by stirring. وهنحط الشوجر in the water in each of the beakers، لكل beaker. هنلاقي هنا ايه؟ ان البيكر B اللي هو hot water which is the temperature أعلى، the sugar dissolves faster than the other one. الشوجر هيدوب أسرع في بيكر B. طيب لو شفنا مثلا البيكتشر دي، لما بنحط هنا on heating the solute dissolves faster by heating. لما درجة الحرارة the temperature بتزيد then the solubility also increase. So we can observe that sugar in beaker B takes a shorter time to dissolve than in beaker A. يبقى تاني observation, what we observe that sugar in beaker B takes a shorter time to dissolve than in beaker A. خد وقت أقل في beaker B اللي هو كان on hot water than the other one. طيب نقدر نعمل conclude إيه بقى من هنا؟ Our conclusion that by increasing the temperature، كل ما temperature يزيد the speed of the solubility increases. Okay. طيب. Give reason now. Dissolving sugar in hot water is faster than in cold water. ليه في hot water أسرع من cold water؟ Because when the temperature increases, the speed of the solubility increases. That's it. طيب احنا كده خلصنا factor number 2. Now factor number 3. Factor number 3 which is stirring. يعني إيه stirring؟ When we get a glass rod and form a stirring on the mixture. عندنا هنا for example two beakers, beaker A and beaker B. والاثنين فيهم the same quantity of solvent and the same quantity of solute. هنحط solute which is in here sugar، هنحط الشوجر في الووتر. Beaker B without stirring, beaker A with stirring. يا ترى أنهي فيهم اللي الsolute هيحصل له dissolve أسرع من التاني؟ For sure in beaker A، أكيد في البيكر اللي بيحصل له stirring، اللي فيه stirring. يبقى هنا our observation that in beaker A the sugar takes a shorter time to dissolve than in beaker B. هياخد وقت أقل في beaker A، يعني هيدوب أسرع، هيحصل له dissolve أسرع. يبقى هنا our conclusion we can conclude that stirring increases بتسرع the stirring increases the speed of the solubility process بتزود سرعة ال solubility process. Now property or factor number 4. Factor number 4 which is the kind of solute. خلصنا دلوقتي اتكلمنا عن ال quantity of solvent, اتكلمنا عن the temperature and also about the stirring. Now we're going to talk about factor number 4 which is kind of solute. عشان نفهم ال kind of solute عبارة عن ايه؟ احنا هنستخدم كل حاجة زي بعض ما عدا حاجة واحدة. kind of solute يعني نوع الsolute نفسه. كنا كل مرة نستخدم sugar وsugar أو salt وsalt، المرة دي هنستخدم two kinds، حاجتين مختلفين من ال solute. عندنا هنا sodium chloride and sodium carbonate. The same amount of solute بس ال kind مختلف. هنستخدم برضو glass rod و two beakers. ال two beakers فيهم solvent with the same amount of solvent and we're gonna put them on heating. هنحطهم ايه on the heat. طيب يبقى دلوقتي عندنا kind of solute. The solute مختلف. هنحط الصوديوم كلورايد in the beaker وهنحط الصوديوم كربونات برضو في البيكر التاني وهنشوف ايه اللي هيحصل. نفس ال quantity of solvent، نفس ال quantity of solute on heating، في stirring، كل حاجة زي بعض بس في فرق واحد which is the kind of solute. يبقى هنا kind of solute الsolute مختلف sodium chloride and sodium carbonate. هنلاقي هنا ايه؟ we're gonna observe that dissolving sodium chloride is faster than dissolving sodium carbonate in the same amount of water. هيبقى أسرع من الصوديوم كربونات. صوديوم كلورايد اللي هو السولت ودوت بيدوب أسرع. يبقى هنا we can conclude that the solubility process depends on the kind of the solute. يقدر بيعتمد على ال kind على نوع الsolute. آخر حاجة عايزين ناخدها هي إيه؟ the notes. Note that shaking has the same quantity of stirring process. Shaking زي بالظبط ال stirring. طب إيه تاني؟ The necessary factors to decrease the solubility time or increase the solubility speed are إيه؟ بنقدر نستخدم إيه عشان نزود ال speed؟ Increasing the amount of solvent. نزود ال solvent. Heating, stirring or grinding the solid materials. إن إحنا نعمل grinding لل solid materials يعني نعمل grind بدل ما نستخدم ال sugar cubes نستخدم powder sugar cubes نستخدم powder sugar. لما بنحط ال sugar as a powder بيدوب أسرع من as a cube فبالتالي grinding the solid materials increase the solubility speed. And by that we finished our lesson. خلصنا الليسون عندنا هنا. اتكلمنا عن the solution فهمنا هو ايه واتكلمنا كمان عن the factors that affecting the solubility process. So now let's take some questions together about that lesson. So let's go. Now we're going to take some questions about the lesson. The first question that we have in here, complete the following statements. يلا نعمل complete in here. Number 1, a substance consists of more than one type of particle. It's called, madam, more than one type of particle يبقى mixture. Okay, now a solution is a type of a solution is a type of mixture. And the solution, it consists of solid and solvent, so it consists of more than one type of particles, so it's a type of mixture. Question number 3, the substance which dissolves in a liquid is called dissolves in a liquid. Dissolves in a liquid يعني بنتكلم عن solid which is the solute. طيب question number 4 in here, the speed of the solubility. The speed of solubility بيحصل لها ايه by increasing stirring. لما بنزود ال stirring the solubility speed also increase. So in here the speed of solubility increases by increasing stirring. Now choose the correct answer. Number 1, to form a salty solution we add salt to water with melting, evaporation, stirring, or A and B. Salt and water to form solution by stirring. Okay, another question. The process in which a solute dissolves in a solvent is known as the process اسمها ايه؟ solubility, solvent, evaporation, or fusion. For sure, the solubility process. Grinding the sugar cubes. لما بنعمل للsugar cubes grinding ده بيعمل ايه؟ Increasing the speed of solubility, decreases the speed of solubility, decreases the amount of solvent, or prevents the solubility process. اتفقنا ان احنا بقى عندنا powdered sugar او sugar cubes بنستخدم الباودرد احسن لانه بيحصل له dissolve اكتر. فلما نعمل grinding للsugar cubes ده بيزود solubility speed, so it increases the speed of the solubility process. Now, what happens if the quantity of solvent increase? اللي يحصل لو quantity of solvent increases, the speed of the solubility increases. سرعتها هتزيد. طيب, give reason for. The solution is a type of mixture. ليه solution يعتبر type of mixture? Because it consists of more than one type of particles. Another question. In chocolate milk, chocolate is considered as the solid. Why chocolate is the solid? Because it's the solid substance that dissolved in the milk, which is the solvent. الشوكولات هو الsolid والمilk هو solvent. Now complete the following table. عندنا هنا table solution. عايزين نعرف من كل solution which one is the solid and which of them is the solvent. In here, tea solution with sugar. Tea solution and sugar, for sure, the sugar is the solid and the tea solution is the solvent. And what about lemon juice with sugar? Sugar and lemon juice. Sugar is the solid, which is the solute, and lemon juice is the liquid, so it's the solvent. طب what about baking soda solution? Baking soda solution يعني baking soda and water. Which one of them is a solid and which is the liquid? Baking soda is the solid, so it's a solute, and water is the solvent. What about in here? Sodium carbonate solution. Sodium carbonate solution, for sure. Sodium carbonate is the solid substance, so it's the solute. And solution يبقى هو عبارة عن sodium carbonate water. يبقى water, it's the liquid, so it's the solvent. And in here, in the last question, salty solution. Salty solution يعني salt with water. Salt with water يبقى أنهي solid? The salt. يبقى salt هو solute and the water is the solvent. Okay, and then we finished our questions for today. خلصنا questions, خلصنا lesson 2 in unit 2, اتكلمنا عن solutions وفهمنا هو عبارة عن إيه وكمان حلينا some questions about that lesson. So now, thank you for watching and see you next time. Goodbye.